The Mercedes E-Class is undoubtedly a limousine that gives driving pleasure to the driver and the director who's sitting in the back seat, just because the back is more comfortable than the front. Hello from Auto Start Test and welcome to our review of the Mercedes E-Class with a factory name of W213.
When the E-Class was first delivered to us, the first thing you notice about this car is its massive grille. It literally dwarfs everything else on the front of the car. Although I do like the 50s Americana look it's got, which is also reflected in the interior of the car. And the bonnet is massive, just massive. I mean, it's almost as wide as I am tall. I'll show you. Look at this, it's massive. I mean, the bonnet is actually 160 centimetres wide. The headlights look amazing. I love the aggressive look they've got. I particularly like the way these daylight driving lights have like a fluid line that continues down the side of the car. I really like the bumper. It's bold, it's curvy, it really suits the car. I'm not so keen on the mesh. I think it's just a bit of plastic. I think if you're going to have a mesh on a car like this, have a proper mesh. The grille from the side of the car is very pronounced. I mean, it looks like it's just going to eat up the road as you're driving along it. The side profile reminds me of the Maybach from a few years ago. I really like the polished alloy trim around the windows. It gives it that retro 50s look again on the side of the car. One observation I did notice was the roof is quite raised at the back. Obviously for company directors and people like that to sit in the back of it and be comfortable. And then it just flows nicely to the rear lights and the boot lid. The rear of the car is nice and simple, nice and functional, very German. I like the way it swoops off the rear arches. I like the chrome detail above the boot lid and the chrome detail around the exhaust. I especially like the exhaust. It gives it a nice aggressive sporty look at the back. Quite an interesting feature is the rear view camera, when it's activated, pops out from the handle here. The interior in this car is very nice. In the driver's seat, I have loads of room in this car. There's plenty of room for my feet, for my legs, there's space here. This plastic down here and here is harder than the plastic used on the side of the car, but it's not a problem for me. Above my head there's possibly 5 inches there above my head, so there's plenty of room either way. Leo, the other Auto Start Test presenter, is about to get in the seat in my position. Now, Leo is 6'3". I'm only 5'7", so Leo's just going to get himself comfortable now. As you can see, Leo's got plenty of room around himself and his upper body, but for the legs he finds that they're rubbing against the sides of the footwell, that hard plastic I spoke about earlier, and the door there. He finds that there's not a great deal of room for his feet. Above his head there's about 12 centimetres of space, which is pretty good to say he's a very tall fellow. The seat's very snug, it holds you in the sides here, so that's nice and gives it a sporty feel. The door's plastic is nice and soft, a good quality plastic there. There's a leather seamed effect on the door handle. The first thing I noticed when I got in this car is the retro 1950s dash design. I really like the way it blends into the 21st century dash design. Lower down you have separate controls for the air conditioning for the driver and the passenger. Below that you've got a very nice analog clock, makes it look quite classy. The piano black plastic flows along the transmission tunnel. Then you've got your toggle for the entertainment and navigation systems. We've got a compartment here, which has got a little gap for your change, the 12-volt socket and 2 cup holders. And then further back we've got this compartment here. Press the button, it releases it. Inside there we've got an SD card slot and 2 USB slots. I really like the compartment, but you have to put it back manually. It would have been really nice if you could just press the button again and it would pop itself back together. Above the center console, we have the visors. We have some microphones, so when you're on the Bluetooth speakers, you can talk to the people. Standard light and mirror. We have a few controls on this little panel in the middle here. Control for the interior light there, which is really nice LEDs. Pop this open, we have the sunglasses compartment, which has got like a rubber texture to it inside there. There's also a little courtesy light underneath the rear view mirror. The interior lights have a very nice warm glow effect that comes out under the dashboard, also in the footwells of the car, and it's all controlled up here. In the car's computer we can change the ambient colour. There's actually 60 plus different colour effects that we can put into the car. In the passenger's door there's a little water compartment, and our official bottle of water sits in there. There's oodles of room in there. In the glove compartment we have the usual suspects, and there's not really a lot of room in there, but I don't think you need there to be a lot of room in there because there's so much everywhere else. In front, the clocks are quite large and very clear. I like the way they've integrated the petrol readings and the heat readings into the bottom of the display there. I especially like the fact that the little screen in front of me is actually designed to fit between the clocks, and not just a little screen that's been placed there, a little square screen that's just been placed there. It actually uses the space, which is really nice. To the left of that we've got the main onboard computer, which I can navigate with these little sensors on the steering wheel, which is very clever. The steering wheel is a reasonable sporty size. We've got the flappy paddle gearbox below, just behind there, and then the stalk for the lights and the window washers on this side, and the gear stick on stalk on this side. So when I'm sitting behind my driver position, I have oodles of room. Yeah, there's loads of room in front of my legs, there's loads of room above my head. The passenger door here is a slightly harder plastic than what was in the front, and likewise on the handle here. There's a little compartment here for storage. The seats are leather here but plastic here. There's some nice little air vents in the middle here, and there's a little compartment here with a 12-volt adapter and a little bit of storage there. The driver's headrest has 5 height settings and also pushes forwards or back for driver comfort. The passenger's front headrest also does the same. The back seat is very comfortable in this car. There's plenty of space for me and my shoulders here. Even with the baby seat there, there's plenty of space. Leo's going to jump in next to me and we're going to have a comparison of how comfortable it is with another grown-up in there. Okay, Leo's going to join me in the back now, and we're going to see really how much room there is if you want a couple of adults and a baby seat in here. Well, I've got plenty of room on the right hand side, but feeling quite squished on the left hand side. I think Leo's just feeling quite squished right now.
I feel like that.
So would definitely be comfortable for 2 grown adults, but not if you needed a baby seat in the middle.
The presented model was equipped with a 2-litre diesel engine and 150 horsepower. It is the basic diesel engine of this model and provides decent performance. The average fuel consumption is 55 mpg. The suspension is very comfortable, I mean it's very soft, and this adversely affects fast cornering or sudden changes of direction. In this sense, the car behaves a little unstable, and actually the driver has such an impression. The ride itself is very comfortable, but in my opinion, more for the rear passenger. In the front, for very tall drivers, we are missing some space. The car also has a so-called turbo lag, so trying a sudden acceleration may unpleasantly surprise us. And what do you think about the E-Class Mercedes?
Please let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe to my channel and visit my website. Time to say goodbye, take care of yourself and your four wheels. Goodbye from Auto Start Test.